name is Jabir McKnight, and I'm your host of the Spark Podcast. This is my first time making a cheesesteak on a grill.
We were doing what the average storefront would do in a 250 square foot space.
I'm gonna get one of these in my apartment. I don't know how much they cost, but we'll figure it out. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Jabir McKnight, and I'm your host of the Spark Podcast. And I'm here in Atlanta at Uncle Phills Cheesesteaks with my guy, the CEO of Uncle Phills, Donald Ralls, a.k.a. Don Juan.
I was about to say, you got to add the Don Juan to there.
You know I got to add it in. We're going to have a really insightful conversation about entrepreneurship, about your journey from South Philly to Atlanta, as well as your HBCU experience and the importance of partnership with your wife and how important that support system is to your journey.
Yeah.
How you feeling there?
Feel good, man. I got my guy here, bro. Grew up together.
Yes, sir.
And just to see, us here, man, I appreciate you, bro. I ain't see you in a couple years, but we stay in contact. We talk to each other, just about our endeavors and what we're trying to do. So I'm excited that we just get to talk, reminisce a little bit, and then talk about the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important before we talk about Uncle Phil's and what you're doing in 2025, it's important to understand where you are. You have to start with where you came from. So tell me a little bit more about, your upbringing. We grew up literally around the corner from each other in South Philly.
Yeah.
Talk me through that, sports, and how you came to where you are today.
Man, we ain't got a lot of time, but yeah, you know what? I had actually came from 22nd Street, and then Quante was my man, and he lived like literally right there, five houses down or wherever from y'all. And he introduced me to you and your big brother, and I grew up with my older brother Tyreek. I had 2 siblings in the house with me, but I got 6 altogether.
Yeah.
Actually 7. Tripping. I got 3 brothers and 4 sisters, so I got a pretty unique family. I'm the middle child out of all of that, and just growing up in South Philly, man, it was different. We were hoopers, so we would travel from the Jets, like Thrift Street, or we went to Tasker or Reed and play basketball in the summer times. And in reality, that taught me just a lot about life, about communication, about understanding people, about psychology. Because you're with all these different people from different neighborhoods that got different upbringings, that got different, household dynamics.
Yeah.
I grew up with my stepmother and my father, but that's still a 2-parent household to me. We came home to cook meals, and all my brothers, which was my childhood friends like Sanaa, Talik, Basil, we all in the crib eating together, going to the court together, going, to parties together and different things like that. So that unique upbringing taught me just about life, brotherhood, about relationships and how important that is, and really just being genuine, So I think the biggest thing I took from my city was having the tenacity to go get what you want, man. We never believed in excuses. It was never a point that we didn't believe in making a way for ourselves. So I took that to college,
Yeah.
We going to transition to going to Hampton. And that was a totally different learning experience coming from where we come from.
I was on my flight over here. I was reminiscing on and thinking through South Philly and that South Philly experience.
Yeah.
And when you're in it, you don't realize all of the trials and tribulations that we were all going through.
Yeah.
And I look back on it now and I'm like, wow, it was normal because everyone was going through different things, but it's not a normal experience. But community was so strong. I think that's what helped us get through it, is that we all had each other. We spent days and nights together. As soon as we came home from school, we at the park, we hooping until the street lights come on, and there's some.
We sharing chips, we sharing juice. Somebody got $1. We breaking down the chips, we breaking down the candy.
Yeah.
So it was just that community of if one don't got it, you know what I'm saying, we put our money together, or we put our resources together, somebody got it. I remember having secondhand drugs, you know what I'm saying, the boss had the poor little leather boot strap way fast. We gave it to my brother. I took it for my brother. That was the community, you know, I rocked it like, you know, it was new. You know what I'm saying? I loved it. So I think about that, bro, and that was important, man. Like, a lot of times when I talk to them guys and they see what I'm doing, they like, yo, I'm like, bro, you don't realize some of those moments how I still utilize them those days, you know, when I'm playing basketball with Shield or with Mike, and they, you know, talking smart and making me mad and making me upset. It taught me how to control my emotions. Don't let nobody control, you know, your emotions, especially in business or, you know, with customers and different things like that, or the naysayers. Those moments growing up, I still utilize them. So we're talking about being a product of your environment, but you can also produce new paradigm shifts from that said environment that is more positive, you know, for, you know, your growth. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah,
I agree with you because I think sometimes we're taught to like demonize our experience, but it's all in perspective. Like when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
right.
There are a lot of positive experiences and lessons if we look at it correctly that, like you said, power this journey. I think we have similar experiences in that way when people are looking at us like, wow, like I can't even imagine like the things that you're doing. Like this is absolutely amazing, but it's no, you could do this too.
Yeah.
But there are small perspective shifts that you need to occur that helps you. And also, you know, there is some grace involved. I'm a spiritual person. You're a spiritual person.
Yeah.
You know, we're guided in that way. They could have gone a different way that, you know, we weren't necessarily in control of.
Yeah.
But it's up to us to pour it back into the generation that's coming behind us so they can also follow this positive trajectory that we have.
Yeah.
So from South Philly, talk to me about your experience in Harrisburg, meeting your girlfriend at the time, now wife, transition into Hampton.
Yeah. I think that was the biggest pivot in my life. So I remember like it was yesterday, you know what I'm saying? Like I was 16, I was playing AAU, I just came back from Vegas. And, you know, just got into a little trouble like Will Smith, they sent me packing, you know, it's like, you know what? You know, the people, you know, you can't control who you hang with, you can't control that environment. So I ended up actually getting kicked out for a little bit. I went to go sleep on my brother couch, Sanaa couch. And then I ended up moving to Harrisburg with my mom, and that really changed me because it was isolation. I got to really be with my thoughts. And I always had a crazy imagination, a crazy vision of where I wanted to be. But sometimes when you're in a crowd, you can't really hear that inner voice that you need to hear to really guide you. So going to Harrisburg, it really made me look myself in the mirror and say, yo, is this truly what you want? That true say you are, even at a young age. And that was pivotal because each age matter. You know, sometimes we have a lot of time to do things, but unfortunately being Black in the society, we don't get many times to fail.
Yeah.
So we have to really learn from other people's mistakes and really reflect on their mistakes. So growing into me and my wife, which is my girlfriend there, that changed my perspective with Noah because she come from suburbs. So seeing her family dynamic, man, is crazy. Like that was the biggest influence on me to go to her. She like what was crazy is she had an offer from Hampton and I had got accepted from Hampton. And I had some other offers and stuff like that. And but Hampton had a great journalism program. So I'm like, you know what? I want to go to Hampton, but she just committed. I don't want to seem like I'm following her and this and that. But I'm like, you know what, bro? I love it. You know, no, I'm about to be with Shorty. Like, I'm gonna go here. And people were like, cause she was a noble superstar in basketball, like all-time moving scorer in Harrisburg and all this. Like she had some other very big schools like Georgetown and everything. Like, you drive? What, my wife? Yeah. Oh, Malia Take the Free. That was her name. She was Malia Ralls now.
Okay.
But yeah, so like she ended there. That was a big thing. Player of her caliber going to New. It's dispute, but her mother was there. You know what I'm saying? So her mother went to Northern as well. So that legacy, she got our legacy. And her grandfather went to Howard, and her grandmother went to Howard, and her grandfather was at Alfred, her grandma was at LPA. You know, in Philly, we didn't know nothing about sororities and fraternities and what that meant.
Yeah.
You know, even though we were in the sorority tech, sororities, you know, the noops, you know what I'm saying? But we didn't know what that meant, you know, with that legacy and just the awareness and perspective of it. So being around them, like they got me my first laptop. They helped me get into pre-college, you know, but at the same time, I had the tenacity, you know, right, both soul but hunger in me. And so we went on to Hampton together, and that's his own story in itself, you know, because I met a lot of different people from all over the country that looked like me, that was different shades of me, but had unique stories, you know, that, like I said, came from Maryland in a dirty community, fathers as doctors or lawyers and different things like that, but they were grounded, you know, they had these morals and principles that I had coming from my environment.
Yeah.
But I saw what they had that was different than me was the actual finite proof that what they wanted was possible.
I love that. That part of the story really like resonates with me. I think about just about the time you were in Harrisburg, you know, like my mom got sick and she was in a hospital for a significant amount of time. And I moved to Jersey with my aunt, who is a corporate attorney. And I had a similar switch, right? Like I didn't leave Philly. I was living with her in Jersey, but she worked in Philly. So I didn't have to leave my school. But that experience, that exposure allowed me to see like, wow, like this is tangible. I can get this type of lifestyle, if not exceed it. This is not beyond me.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, what we view as wealthy is really like people's just regular lifestyle. And it raised my baseline for what I felt was possible. And that helped me even going into college, like you said. And Black people are not a monolith. Like when you're college campuses, you see that like this experience is vast. You see people that are like as first generation college students. There are people that they have, like you said, grandparents that had been in college, but you still connect with them. So like you said, Hampton, that was the amazing experience. Tell me about how that tenacity showed up in your journey to make the basketball down.
Yeah. So, like I said, I always have an imagination, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about my environment, it taught me to go the extra mile. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody in life care about your excuses. They care about your execution. We all got the same story. You all got the strife. You know, some trauma is different than others at a different level. So, you know, what I did was I knew a lot of the people that like wanted to walk on. And let me go back because my wife was such a superstar that kind of hurt me a little bit. Like let's go back to that. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
So she was such a superstar that the women's coach, she was like, this is how I am. Cause she like, yo, my boyfriend coming, we want to play basketball. Can we talk to the coach? So we talk to the coach or whatever. So he like, you know, let's see if he can actually hoop or whatever. So I ended up going to pre-college and, you know, working out with the team in the summertime and then became like a preferred walk-on. So like everybody that was coming in the fall that wanted to walk on, they already made it to the green. Like I'm early already because of that connection, because of how good my wife was.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and then also the work that I did, but I can't not add that to the story because she was such a superstar that dude took it into consideration. And of course I'm here to do the work. But even throughout that, like, I don't know if you remember Shire, but he remember. Okay. So me and Shire talk about because Shire was a rook on at Robert Morrison.
Yeah.
So we just talk about our walk on stories because I was like low key, like I was like a red shirt my freshman year or whatever. But at the same time, I was a manager. You know what I'm saying? So I'm helping them with jerseys, like washing jerseys, getting people water and different things like that. But it taught me so much about, like, once again, I really realized I understood people. Cause I took the same thing of like going from 15th Street to Tot Lot to Veer to Orton Reed, you know, like these different basketball courts, and like understood like, yo, I can't talk a lot all the stuff I talk at 15th Street at Tot Lot because how different is a whole different. Like they a little, and then I can't do that there. So it allowed me to understand the players, and then like I was like the only red shirt walk on that was traveling with the team.
Yeah.
And like the senior guy like banged with me because we was about to get in a fight. He like, oh, I like this kid. Like, he tough. Like,
Yeah.
he don't care. Like, he not taking no, you know what I'm saying? So taking that into that experience, it allowed me to set myself apart. And really, when I look back, I was really going by our leadership skills because I understood each person on my team was different. Same thing with my employees. Like, I don't talk to each employee the same. You know what I'm saying? Each employee got different motivations.
Yeah.
Each employee see me in a different light. They see my partner in a different light.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We talk about that. Sometimes, you know, Swee is the tyrant and Don is the good guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's the bad guy. It is just our natural dynamic. We're not trying to force it.
How important do you think leadership development is for a entrepreneur? One of the things I like to say is sometimes it's better to be the author of a story than be the person that's actually delivering the message. And to your point, like you said, understanding people's motivations, understanding what makes them tick or who they're responsive to. Sometimes you may have to go to your partner and say, this person is going to respond better to you, but this is what I want you to say.
Sir. Yeah, we do that. We do that for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the saying, yeah, no, that's a fact. That's very important. Tonality, communication, even how you communicate about yourself, the story that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, our trailer just got stolen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, what story do you tell? You know what I'm saying? How do you communicate that to get the result you want from it, right? So I'm like, yo, our trailer got stolen because we need to lock in on the storefront. You know what I'm saying? I could have changed the communication like, oh, well, now we can't make no more money or whatever. It's like, no, now we can lock in on the storefront and really get this where we need it to be. And it's the same thing, you know, with our staff is like, yo, how we communicate the vision is important because they're only going to follow the lead of somebody that has an absolute vision that improves them. And so they don't need to be included in the vision. They need to get their generational curses broken from the vision, or else it don't really matter. Because what does it matter if we, you know what I'm saying, we make all the money and they were like, you know, 5 years from now, they still working at the same location.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
So how do you envision that since we're on the topic? I remember you saying like, you know, wanting to get into and not to jump past the Hampton Stir back, you know, talking about, you know, franchising and even some people that, you know, you're helping build up here and understanding the business holistically. Like, tell me what that growth plan looks like in your head. What do you envision for the business and for some of your employees that have been here since day one?
So I think the vision changes as you learn more. I think it's definitely integrating vertically and, you know, like growing our people from the inside, not bringing people from the outside that per se had that experience. So that might take a little longer than some people want, but at the same time, that's the story that we want to tell. You know what I'm saying? I want to tell the story of somebody starting from a cashier and now being an operational manager for our regional stores. You know what I'm saying? I want to tell the story of somebody having their own Uncle Phil's that once started from the bottom. And I think that's important. And you get inspired from other companies that did it. Like this company I'm really paying attention to is In-N-Out Burger in California.
Yeah.
Because it's a family-owned business. They own and operate all their stores and they hire internally throughout their whole growth of the business. So they don't have a lot of locations because they're doing it that type of way. And what I like about them is like inspiration is very important in anything that you're doing in life, you know, because you want to take those things and make it unique, right? So what I like about them is when they open up a new store, what they do, they have an all-star team. So they pull their all-star teams from other locations and send them into this location. Those people from the other locations that to open it up. So then the new Nallos, they could actually see the culture and how it's ran. And, you know, they can really understand that I want to build a team so strong that we can go out and open up in front of locations and saying then Like I get inspiration from anybody. You see, I look at Lil Russell and I look at, you know, him breaking down equity with
You were independence and ownership with the city.
saying. So I'm looking at that with, you know, with my staff, like, yo, how can we break down equity at these different locations for the people that have been rocking with us? You know what I'm saying, what are the incentives that we giving them? Because that's going to be a true dynamic, is making money without having to work. That's the only way we're going to really change our staff life. You know what I'm saying? So obviously we'll have to think about what's the structure of that, you know, what's the incentive goals of that for them to get there. But I think the biggest thing is actually getting off that, because most of business owners just think about them making money or them changing their lives. And I feel like when you think about that, you're not going to grow. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro, I got a great team. Like, they rock with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they sacrifice just as much as we sacrifice. So they deserve it. And I think that's what's gonna make them work harder, because I think being consistent and doing the same thing every day, it gets mundane if you don't have that vision.
Yeah.
So you gotta, as a leader, continue to speak life into them, continue to give them benchmarks to reach, continue to feed them incentives and rewards for reaching those benchmarks.
Yeah.
And then allow them to sit back and see the bigger picture. Like, okay, we went from here to here. Like my one cook, he was with us from the church to the ghost kitchen, now to the store stuff. So he's seen the growth. That was only like the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, so also, we gotta touch you in that. Like, and I've been like extremely inspired by the work that you've done and like how you progress and share that vision along the way, right? Like, it's not like I was here in Atlanta with, I was here seeing the journey and the storytelling through social media, right? Like, from So Icy to the ghost kitchen, like you said, the food truck at the storefront, you were in the church. Tell me about that experience. I know you were splitting time, working and building this brand. That's extremely important. I think the entrepreneurs out there that are watching, there are a lot of people that have feelings and they want to take that leap into entrepreneurship. And people's journeys are different, right? People split time for a long time. Some people are forced into it. So yeah, tell me about that.
Man, very, very interesting, because you gotta know when to jump in. You know what I'm saying? I think that was important. So when we was building out our truck, me and my partner, you know, we were both working and different things like that. And you just kind of get to the point, like my wife wanted me to keep on working and do both. But honestly, like, God working in mysterious ways. Like, I got fired from my job. And that was just my signal, like, to jump in. Because like you said, we're spiritual people. So like, the spirit is energy. So I'm putting all this energy into like birthing this vision. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like a lot of the work is mental. You know what I'm saying? It's a quote that say, the mind is all is the mind. You know what I'm saying? This game that we're playing starts in our mind. It starts with visualization. You know, going back to basketball, I think about Black Mamba mentality and really visualizing. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything I did in my life, I visualized it. Like, when I went to Hampton, I'm like, okay, I'm a walk on. I'm gonna do this. This how I'm gonna set myself apart. I understood that growing the business. I'm like, yo, there's no way that at this point, like when I was building a trailer, it was cool. But I'm like, there's no way that these people are putting in 14 hours and I can put in 6 and I can catch up to them. You know what I'm saying? Or I can set myself in the same conversations with them. So it got to a point where I understood, like, yeah, I gotta fit all 10 feet on the ground. I mean, all the 10 toes on the ground and get right to it. So I got fired, and I think the hardest thing was not knowing when that check was going to come in.
Yeah.
But literally, I had to hunt what I eat.
Yeah.
You know, if I ain't make no money, you know, rent was still due. And I threw back for that batter in my back and go out and really go get it. You know, and that's when they started really becoming, like you said, that storytelling. And really posting on social media and telling the story, yo, this is where I'm at. You know, I'm from Philly, I'm doing water ice, you know, and that got people involved. And then the biggest thing is when they get in front of you, like, find those similarities. Like, oh yeah, you from West, what part? You from the bottom? I'm from South Philly. What ice? You went there? I went to FLC. And that word bag witchership. Now they telling their friends, they telling, yo, this dude really from Philly. This is authentic. They just continue to build that momentum. And I think more than anything, people want to be a part of a story.
You know, it's interesting that we started out the conversation talking about community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now we're at this point in the conversation and we're talking about community.
Yeah. You know, not to cut you off, bro. The reason why Atlanta is so crazy is because of communities. Everybody is matriculating from different cities and they're looking for a community that they didn't really get back in their city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't find a community like this in a lot of cities. I don't like some people say Houston, you can't find nothing like Atlanta, bro. Like it's some people getting money out Houston, but the hunger, the creativity, the innovation, the support, the genuine support is not like Atlanta.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to do it as fast than any other city other than Atlanta. I truly believe that. Now we're gonna take over everywhere else, but Atlanta is the center mecca of this thing.
I love it. How did you take the leap from the ghost kitchen to your storefront? Were you looking at the numbers and it made sense?
Yeah.
Or just tell me about what allowed you to make that push. We talked about what pushed you into full-time entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But what pushed you from each location as your business was growing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes taking that big leap on the first try is too much to handle. So it's very important that we did it small and we learned some of those intricacies as far as customer service, as far as like what our values was, how we wanted to be perceived by our customers, you know, what type of etiquette we wanted to have with our staff. You know, did we want it to be a fun environment or did we want it to be like more stern? You know what I'm saying? So learning that, like, and then honestly, the ghost kitchen, we just outgrew it. You know, it got to the point with the parking and then like just the growth on social media, like people couldn't get to us. You know what I'm saying? So that was stopping our growth because people like, yo, I'm driving by because it's too packed in the parking lot. But then at the same time, the ghost kitchen was 250 square feet. This is like 1,900 square feet right here.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing what the average storefront would do in a 250 square foot space.
Yeah.
So I knew that if we, 10 times that, we're not making 10 times, but obviously we're going to double that here. And then it would just allow people to see us. That's the one thing, at the ghost kitchen, they couldn't see us. Sometimes we would come from the back or walk up there, but
you were still telling your story.
Yeah, it's not the same though. You can come in and with this open concept, you can see us cooking at cheese. So,
yeah.
Sometimes me and my partner up there cooking, but we're talking to the stage like, yo, this your first time, this and that. Like we're coming up, taking orders. We're getting to know people. We're getting to know the community. I think that's very important, man, because there's a young kid out here. He's 16 years old. You come out here and sell, what is it called? Little car scent things, little tree car scent things. Yep. And I talked to him like, yo, that's not a good product to sell. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want no car scents. What you need to do is they wash cars right here. You need to partner with them. You know what I'm saying? But it's important to know him, right? So what I did was, I'm like, you know what, bro? I'm going to get some flyers. I'm going to pay you $70 and you pass out the flyers. I'm going to tell you what I want you to say, what our brand is about. So then you can, on them slow days or whatever, you can at least get 70 ball. Because you're not scared to pass them out, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm using, I'm building that community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how many friends. If you got 5 friends, I already send them all.
Yeah.
I'm at 5 y'all. Is a Publix up the street? Is this up there? I'm gonna send y'all all around the area. And now we that guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now they like, dang, they boots on the ground. And I think that's important because people want to see behind the veil. Everybody want to look pretty. Everybody want to look like it's no mistakes or this and that. Like I tell people all the time, like, if you mess up an order, bring it back. We'll remake it. Chick-fil-A mess up all the time. They biscuit be dry sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I be like, yo, can you remake it? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times as business owners, we're scared of mistakes. We're scared of looking imperfect. But the imperfection makes us great, bro, because every single day we're trying to refine our systems. Like I was just talking to Nikki yesterday. I called her like 10:30, like, yo, what can we do better? Because it seemed like this is messing up. She like, hey, we should try this. I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to implement that. As a leader, I'm going to listen to her because she's not, she can listen to me, but I think sometimes we confuse leadership. The biggest leaders are the biggest followers. I want to learn everything about you to help you do the best you can here, because that's going to make me look good.
Yeah.
And it's going to make you look good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you tell me this is how you want it done, I'm trying to win. I'm not trying to be right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to win, like as an owner, sometimes you like, this is the only way it should be done because this is how I want it done.
Yeah.
But it's not going to help innovate and go to business.
Yeah.
Like even how we do cheesesteaks, some people don't like how we do cheesesteaks, right? Because, so you know how in Philly, they leave it on half of the grill.
Yep.
Right? We're cooking on the other half.
Yep.
You're not gonna grow a franchisable cheesesteak company doing that. That's why I grew certain location. None of them have really the system. So what I do is we prep our beef and we prep it by ships. And we put it in a warmer. We keep it at the same temp it will be on the grill, and then we portion it out. So you have some old Philly dudes that come like, oh, that's how they, you gotta have it on the grill, da-da-da. But it's like innovation sometimes confuses people that's in an old mindset of how things are done. So we try to be as authentic as possible, but you gotta be innovative with the same because if you know how you go to De La Sana, you waiting for an hour and a half just for a beef cheesesteak.
Right.
So y'all want honey garlic, lemon pepper cheesesteaks and all these different creative cheesesteaks. You're not going to get it with the same systems.
It's like understanding the trade-off, right?
Yeah, it's a trade. It is.
There's going to be some part of the process going to make someone unhappy. It doesn't matter how you go about it. But I think it's amazing, like you said, that you are always, and I see it in the comments when you're like in the conversations with people, and it's, oh, that was a problem. Send us a note. Right? Like, but to your point, you're building a system and you're thinking about the operations on the front end because of the vision you have, right? Knowing that you want to grow, you have to build those systems on the front end so you can continue to refine them because you know where you want to go. It's not just one storefront. If it was just one storefront, you could wait. We'd be cool 30 minutes.
Yeah, we'd be cool. Right. Yeah, that's a fact. And that's my thing. Like you can never be satisfied. Me and my partner, bro, that's why, we'll kind of get into that. Like, talking about partnership, you got to have somebody that push you. You know what I'm saying? When you can't be satisfied. And that's why having a great team, because my team was satisfied.
Yeah.
So that's important in the growth. So I think that will help us grow because, like I said, going back to it, these same people is going to have their own storefronts. You know what I'm saying? My young cashier, she going to train the new cashiers. Are we pouring into them for them to get money for that time on the back end?
Yeah.
You did, because they're learning skill sets that will take them further than labor can take them.
Yeah.
And I think that's important in a restaurant space because a lot of people think that you can't build a career in a restaurant space, but it's only because the leadership is sometimes not including everybody into the vision.
Yeah.
But that's why they really Joe in that space.
So when you're having like these conversations about equitable conversations and growth plans, is that something that you have conversations up front with your staff? Like, hey, like in the next 6 months to a year, if we hit these benchmarks, this is what I would ideally like you to be doing outside of what you're doing right now. So like you said, cashier training, next cashier, and doing something different. Like, is that something that you share? What did that look like?
So that structure, honestly, is still being perfected because I don't know what that really looks like. I think the biggest thing, like I just interviewed like 2 people yesterday. And what I do is like, yo, what is your vision? You know what I'm saying, what do you see yourself doing in the company? And if it's not like 5 years with the company, that's cool. Like if we want to be an entrepreneur, my biggest thing is being you achieve to be that while you're here with me.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna really understand that I take everything so serious. I think that's important.
In terms of your values, like you're trying to understand your employees' values and vision, and I'm assuming that has to align with like the vision that you have, right? Or understanding how it falls within that. How does your core values align with the values of Uncle Phil's?
I think they align because one, I believe in empathy.
Yeah.
That's a core value now. Empathy is just understanding that like if a customer coming and they were having a bad day, you don't match energy because you don't know what they're going through. You think I'm saying? And it was a learning curve because sometimes as a business owner, you know, it's like why you know what I'm saying? Why you doing that? Why you act like that? But as I realized, I'm like, yo, people are coming in for an experience. You know what I'm saying? They might be having a bad day out there and it might get that energy, but it might be unintentionally. I had times where I grew empathy back to people And they sent people back to me. They like, yo, I was having a bad day, but you let me rock. You gave me a free drink. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, I sent my cousins, they loved it. And that went a long way. And I try to instill that into our staff. Like, yo, don't match that energy. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the lifetime of the customer is more important than that one situation that you had. They might have just been having a bad day, but you giving them that energy, it shows that that's not who we really are.
Yeah.
Because empathy is not based on what anybody does to you. It's based on how you react to it.
Yeah.
So you give me bad energy, but if I give it back to you, that means I don't have no empathy. I can't say I really understand you.
Yeah.
So that I think being a visionary is my core value. I'm saying if people aren't coming in with a vision of where they want to go, like if I ask you, like, what do you want to do in 5 years? And you won't know that, that's kind of an issue. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to know how to get there. You just need to have a destination. If you don't have a destination, because the path is always going to pivot. So you need that destination still. So I think that's important because we can't guide anybody without vision because you're not going to care. You're not going to be tethered to anything. When you're tethered to a vision, you can be guided easy. You know what I'm saying? That's why when we talk about spirituality in the Bible, it say men without vision shall perish. You know what I'm saying? God can't guide you without a vision. You're going to perish over time. You know what I'm saying? So people are going to dwindle away. They're not going to hit benchmarks and different things like that because they don't want to be a manager. They don't want to be a operational person. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be a team lead. You know what I'm saying? So those are just some of them. And I think over time, what I'm doing is understanding their core values. You know, right? I'm starting to allow them to train all the staff coming in and really stepping away from a line of the stuff because I'm like, yo, y'all got to work with them. I don't. What I'm saying, when I'm not here, I'm going to have to be willing to work with these people. Because everybody going to probably do what they need to do when I'm here.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to let you train them like that. But train them as if they're working alongside you on a crazy Saturday. And you tell me if you want to hire them or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important because what I've been doing is hiring people myself. My father hired people ourselves, and then sometimes they're not a good fit for the team.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we need to step away from that because we have great leaders that has previous experience as managers and hiring managers. So we will allow them to practice that. And then, come back and evaluate them like, bro, you trained them.
Yeah, culture is so important. I think it's so amazing that you're like, again, like the empathy, the leadership, how community oriented you are, and it shows up in your staff. It shows up in the people in the community. Like you said, that young man that clearly was exhibiting some advanced sales skills and tenacity and understanding. You asked him what his number was. I think that was so important. Right. Like not taking advantage of him, but saying, oh, he's doing that. He could do that for me. Well, no, what's your best sales day?
Right.
Yeah. Got it. You'll have your best sales day every day if you do this for me. Because to him, it's a means to an end, but for you, it's a vision.
He out there for, like I said, he out there for 7 hours, 7 hours. And somebody, what's your number you make a bill? He like 7. I'm like, okay, I mean, hours are young, like 7 or 8, okay. So that's like $10 an hour inside. So it's like, ooh, that's minimum wage. So my mentor is David Sheamus.
Okay.
So he got a show called The Hot Seat.
Huh?
So what he do is he take young entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And that's his saying, right? Like I'm a take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Because until you know your value, right?
Yeah.
Because what I'm gonna do as a businessman, I'm paying you 70, but you say, yo, I pass out 100 of them in 2 hours. Okay, I'm gonna give you $100, $120. But you first gotta know your value. So it's really like a learning curve. We're not gonna take advantage of him in that way, but I wanna teach him the game because they will take advantage of him if you don't learn the business there.
Yeah.
We've been taking advantage of scam with our food truck, overcharged on different things. Via that,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what happens is it can discourage you. So that's why I asked him what his number is, how many hours you work, right? I didn't yet. I'm printing out the flyers now. But what I want him to do is check how many he passed out in an hour. Now I'm evaluating him on the week, and then I'm gonna ask him how much do you think that you can get paid for it? And I'm gonna let him decide the number once again.
Yeah.
If he says something in school, you something like that.
You're training an entrepreneur.
I'm gonna train him.
Yeah.
So, can I like doing that? You know what I'm saying? I like talking to other business owners as well. And I think that's important. So we talk about integrating vertically within our own company, but you gotta network horizontally. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be true within yourself and know what sets you apart at the end of the day.
So talk to me about mentorship. You just said that you talked about your mentor a little bit. Clearly, you're mentoring a young man. You see something in. Tell me about, how important mentorship has been in your experience as a entrepreneur. What lessons have you learned that have been the most valuable at this point in your life? And do you think you would be where you are right now without mentorship?
Nah. Mentorship is important. I mean, I had a lot of mentorships in my life. I mean, I can name several. My big brothers, all of them are mentors that I learned a lot, Like Tariq is he's in a fight, he's gonna hit first.
Yeah.
I utilize that in business, and like if we're talking about business, like setting ourselves apart. I'm not gonna do the same thing as them. I'm gonna set myself apart immediately. So even though that's a different dynamic, that's how I think about certain things. But going into business like a mentor like David Sheens that has been doing it so long, who is like one of my most recent mentors for like the last year or so, I think the biggest thing, like, he really helped us grow the business because he helped us really look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Nothing matters about the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know the numbers, you're not going to be in business. And I think that's the biggest thing. And then also understanding that the rents and successes due every single day. It's not a day that you should take off. Honestly, like if you're not thinking about it, you need to be doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not writing a vision and making it plain,
Yeah.
You need to be in there working with your hands. Because laziness creates stagnation. Saying like you're gonna be stagnant if you're not doing anything. And that doesn't mean don't rest or, like exhaust yourself or anything like that.
But it's purposeful rest. Like if you're resting because you know that you're working, you need to be fresh.
Because honestly, when you love it, you love it. Like Cole talk about all the time, like, I worked out 4 times a day. Some people only worked out twice. But if you don't love it, it's gonna seem exhausting. I like coming here and make cheese. I like when it get fat and people in here staring. Like my partner tell you the other day about Tuesday to pack. I'm like, why all y'all come on this Tuesday? Y'all couldn't wait the Wednesday. Like I'm in here talking because this is what how we talk trash. You know what I'm saying? So this is my show. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they came to see me. They want to see. I'm like, yo, who Tim? Yo, this show right here. I hope you ain't got nothing to do. This girl about to fit you to sleep. You about to go to sleep, but like they not doing it like me.
Yeah.
And you gotta have that type of confidence. So I think that's and also about mentorship, it allows you to see perspectives that you wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Knowledge is 360 degrees. It's a lot of different perspectives of truth.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking to a kid at LA Fitness, he like 23. He's like, yo, I wanna do something else. I've been here 3 years. I haven't really seen any growth. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, that's cool, but understand this. Before you do anything else, reflect on the 3 years and what can you take from these 3 years into the next pivot, right? And it's not about if something worked for you, it's about if it worked on you. Because that's gonna allow you to pivot, right? Because when I was doing video production, I could have easily said, oh, that was a waste of my time. Playing basketball and training that hard and all that stuff was a waste of my time. But energy transmute when you really learn the lesson from it. So that same tenacity, that same work ethic, that same understanding of people, the same communication, leadership skills, sacrifices, all of that transferred over to business. So I told him, you need to reflect before you pivot. Because sometimes you pivot based on a new idea, but you need to pivot based on a new skill set that you hadn't learned previously. You think what I'm saying?
So you're building upon the foundations and the building blocks that you had before. Instead of starting anew, with no direction.
Yeah, because what's the quote? You know what I'm saying? You're not starting over. You're starting with new information. Like if you go back down the mountaintop and you're not really starting from the bottom because now you have the information because you went halfway up.
Yeah.
Or you looked around, you're like, okay, it's a dead end. I gotta go back down and go this way.
Yeah.
But if you went and extract the information you had for their journey of already going up that hill, you're not gonna make it. You know what I'm saying?
Every day is preparing you for the next day.
Every day, bro. Like
Good, bad, or indifferent.
every day, bro. Like it's little stuff that you, and that's why you gotta really pay attention and be in the present moment. And yeah, that's important. Yeah.
So one of the things that I think is extremely important for the audience is not just like having a mentor, how important that is, but like having those conversations. I have conversations with young professionals, older professionals about not just building relationships, but maintaining relationships and having those conversations, because mentorship is a two-way street. So many people are always waiting for someone that may be more advanced in their career to give them the lessons, but you have to be aggressive about seeking out the information and also asking someone that you're inspired by to be a mentor. How did you go about that conversation?
I always ask them, what can I do for you? What skill set do I have that I can do? And I'll do it for free. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was learning the game, because I didn't have any food industry experience. So I would literally go on a Facebook food truck group chat and I say, hey, who needs help in a food truck? Who's short on starter? And I would work for free. And a lot of those people became my mentors. And so guy for free. Like it was an executive chef. He worked for it was like a fine dining restaurant. And he would go open up different restaurants. And I worked for him for free, but he taught me so much about systems, about policies and procedures, about recipe, about writing down every single recipe, how much seasoning. Like I didn't know all, because we make cheese, we just boom, 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 it looks good, we coat it, boom. He showed me all of that consistency, but if I didn't do it for free and I didn't build a relationship with him, I don't think that information would have been given to me. So I think a lot of the time we go into a relationship already thinking what I'm gonna get, but I'm already thinking like, what am I gonna give? Like, what asset do I have that I want to give? And then not expecting anything back. I think that's the biggest thing, because if you're just in proximity with these folks, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Automatically. And if you're in proximity, you're just going to drop. They just going to drop gems on you easily. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna talk like when you're around these high level entrepreneurs, they're used to people already taking from them. They're used to people already having ill intentions, or, somebody doing something for them 3 months, and then that third month, it's like, yo, can you do this for me?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think in a relationship, you gotta genuinely let people give to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I never really asked for anything, like ever. Like if you give me information or you give me a gem, you gave me the gem. Like even with my mentor Shane's, like I didn't ask for that mentorship. You know what I'm saying? He saw something in me with my partner. He's with our mentors, and he just that's how his mind works. He loves to give. He loves to drop gems. So it just organically happened that way. We'll do a gig for him. If he got an event, we'll cater for him, and we'll say, hey, this time, we'll give you a little discount. You know what I'm saying? Not every time, but this time we'll give you a discount. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we build. But I just don't expect it. I mean, sometimes asking is important, because if you don't ask, they don't know. But I just realized sometimes people get asked so much that I never want to overwhelm them with asking them.
I know what I'm saying? So then he left it. How do you keep them in the loop of what's going on? Outside of social, is it like shooting them a text? How frequently are you having those conversations and check-ins?
I mean, I'm checking on what they doing and just going off of there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I see you doing this show. That's gonna be fire.
So just kept sending as a conversation, even if it's over social, just it's not commenting.
Yeah. It has nothing to no. I'll text or call them.
Yeah.
Yo, I saw this happen to your friend. Yo, how you feeling? Are you good? Like, do you need anything? Do you need to come up there? And same thing, build a relationship with your staff, bro. Like my lead cook got sickle cell. He's in the hospital right now. I've been taking him food with son, because he been there for me since the church. Be in a relationship with your wife or your girlfriend and say, yo, I do this so we would do this for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not how, nothing is built by transaction.
Yeah.
Don't be a transactional person. That's how you truly network.
Yeah, I love that. So I think the last part that I want to touch on before we close is like the importance of family, how that drives you. And we could just keep it really streamlined, but I think there's a lot of conversation as being had. I really hated like the 50-50. I mean, it's hate it. But like, you know, again, being with your wife since base school, all the way to graduating college, graduating in 2015, 2016, 2016, and 2025.
Yeah.
Y'all been together for like
We've been together for 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah, since 2012.
How important is that partnership? I think there are a lot of young men out there and middle-aged men as well that feel like they have to have it all together before they connect with like their soulmate. But you know, there's other conversation, at least with people that are actually doing it. Yeah, it's like you do it together.
Yeah, I think it's one size. What you know, it's different paths that you can take. Luckily for me, like we grew up together. You know what I'm saying? We literally learned how to pay bills. To like, how do you pay a power bill? How do you pay, you know, the water bill? Like, you don't know how to do insurance and stuff like that. So I feel like I tell her this all the time because she like watching them little realities. I'm like, bro, if I wasn't with you when I was young, I probably would be single until I get myself together.
Yeah.
But luckily, like, you loved me despite all of that, and you wanted to rock. You know, it was a lot of it was times of frustrations where I feel like I wasn't doing enough, and I'm like, she like, yo, it's just the fact that you want to do enough is all that I need. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because I see the vision. Like, you're not sitting, you know, you'll know a tree by the fruit that it bears.
Yeah.
If you sitting back and saying you want to provide, but you're not doing anything to provide, I think that's the true issue.
Yeah.
And a lot of women talk about, they'll put a lot into the potential of a man, but they never execute. I think that's what it's not really the 50-50, it's the execution of it. Now, I do think you should be a provider.
Yeah.
I do think you should be a provider, but I think it's unrealistic in each different path. It's not gonna, for that, then y'all gonna be 30 because it's gonna take forever for us to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna, you gotta separate what you want, like what success is to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that was my thing. I'm like, yo, like, you come from money and I ain't really got it, so you might want to just wait till I get it. You're like, no, like, I'm cool, like, I'm good. So,
but demonstrating that you can execute is important.
yeah,
And believing in trusting their partners.
yeah, and I think it's if you're young and you're not with a young lady, I wouldn't say focus on yourself, but find the right one that aligns with your vision. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I think any man should want to provide 100% household. You know what I'm saying? Now, they want to pay for trips or whatever. Like, my wife like splurging on me, so I think I ain't gonna stop you. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to get a trip for me, cool. But you should 100% want to provide, though.
I love that.
But 50-50, I mean, that's bro, it's expensive out here, bro. Like, it's, especially in Atlanta, so I don't know. I hate talking about it because I know it's different. I'm like, why are even people worried about it? Like, if you happy, you happy. And I feel like at the end of the day, we just stuck on the wrong mindset of like what success is.
If there is one piece of advice that you have for, I mean, you dropped a lot of gems. People looking to pivot, what would you give them?
Damn, that's a good one. I think I've been living by this quote is that we overestimate what we can do in a year and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years.
Absolutely love that.
I think patience is the biggest virtue, but patience is not stagnation. Patience is just pacing yourself in alignment with the vision that you want to do. So you don't have to do a sprint, right? You want to look around, you want to enjoy the journey, you want to smell the flowers, you want to learn the lessons. And that's going to allow you to really matriculate through life. And once you actually get to that destination, you'll have a better story to tell. A lot of the times we're rushing to the destination, not understanding it's the finish line. You see some of the greatest people like Warren Buffett that's still working because they understand when they stop, it's over.
Yes.
And they just are consumed with with the journey. You know what I'm saying? They're not consumed with having the fancy cars or the luxurious things. They're consumed with pacing themselves and enjoying the journey. So I think that's the biggest thing. If you could do that, I think you'll learn a lot and you'll get much further because you're not paying attention to the timing of things. You're allowing things to happen on their own, to matriculate on their own. A tree isn't saying, yo, I need to grow 30 feet tall right now.
Yeah.
It's just allowing it to be watered and nurtured and it grows on its own time. So I think that's important.
No doubt. As always, I hope this conversation sparked a new idea or perspective in your mind and your heart. Thank you.
For sure.